You can't get stronger by doing what's easy. Growth begins the moment you stop making excuses. Now listen, if you keep waiting for life to hand you the next level, you'll be waiting forever. Nobody's coming to push you. Nobody's coming to remind you of your potential. If you want real change, if you want to build a life you can be proud of, you've got to force yourself to level up. You've got to get tired of your own excuses. That's the turning point for most people. It's not about motivation. It's about the moment you say, enough is enough. I'm done playing small. In this video, we're not here to sugarcoat things. We're going to talk about the truth. Why you're stuck, why you feel behind, and most importantly, what you need to start doing today, not tomorrow, today, to change it all. If you're someone who knows you've been avoiding your potential, if you've been wasting time, doubting yourself, letting days go by without doing the real work, this is your wake-up call. This video is going to challenge the way you think. It's going to shake up your comfort, but that's exactly what you need. Stay with this all the way through. One decision, one shift in mindset, one strong moment of clarity, that's all it takes to change the entire direction of your life. And you might just find that moment right here. Let's begin. Number one, you know you're capable of more, so act like it. You know what pulls people in? It's not loud promises or flashy words. It's that one sentence that hits them right in the gut. So let me start with this. You were not made to settle. You weren't born to go through the motions, to feel stuck, or to keep watching other people live the life you want. There is something in you that knows this already. That's why you get frustrated when you waste time. That's why you feel off when you don't give your best. It's not guilt. It's your own potential reminding you that you're meant to do more. And now, it's time to listen to it. Because when you know you're capable of more and you don't act like it, that creates pain. Not the kind of pain others see, but the kind that keeps you up at night. That quiet discomfort. That feeling that you're watching your own life pass by while you're sitting on the sidelines. That feeling grows. And here's the hard truth. No one's going to come fix it for you. No one's going to wake you up in the morning and say, let's do this. That has to come from you. Because deep down, you've already seen glimpses of who you can be. You've had moments of discipline, moments of clarity, moments of power, and they felt good. Not because things were easy, but because you showed up. There's a reason why some days feel better than others. It's not luck. It's not the weather. It's not what someone said to you. It's how you carried yourself. It's the effort you gave. It's whether you followed through on your word to yourself. Because that's what this is about. Self-respect. When you know you're capable of more, and you actually act like it, you start building something powerful. You build trust with yourself. You build momentum. You build identity. And when that happens, your life starts shifting, piece by piece. Most people think life changes when something big happens. A new job, a lucky break, some external push. But that's not how it works. Life changes when you change. When you raise your standard for yourself. When you say, I don't care how I feel right now. I'm doing what I said I would do. That's when you break through. That's when you start leveling up. Not because things got easier, but because you stop backing down from the hard stuff. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about perfection. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. every day or never slipping up. You're human. You'll mess up. But the point is this. You stop letting the mess-ups be your pattern. You stop excusing them. You don't shrink back into comfort just because you had one lazy day. You face yourself. You say, all right, I didn't show up yesterday, but today I will, no matter what. When you start stacking days like that, days where you act like the person you want to become, something changes in you. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying. You start seeing yourself as someone becoming. That shift is everything. It's what separates the people who live with regret from the people who live with pride. Because let's be honest, regret doesn't come from working hard. It doesn't come from putting yourself out there. It doesn't come from being tired because you've been building your future. Regret comes from sitting still, from holding back, from watching your potential gather dust because you were waiting to feel ready. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move, start, push. Show yourself what you can actually do when you stop waiting. Think about how many times you've said, I know I can do better. And think about what would have happened if you acted on that thought every single time. Where would you be right now if you had done what you were supposed to do. And here's the good part. You can still do it. You can still take those steps. You can still build that version of you. It's not too late. It's not over. You haven't even scratched the surface yet. But that version of you, the one who's sharp, focused, strong, confident, that version doesn't appear overnight. You don't find them. You build them with choices, with habits, with how you speak to yourself, with how you spend your mornings, with what you choose to do when no one's watching. Because that's the part that matters most. What you do when no one else is holding you accountable. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're not delaying the work. You're delaying the reward. You're pushing your best life further away. But the second you stop doing that, when you say, enough, I've been playing small, I've been comfortable, I've been avoiding, and I'm done with that, that's when everything changes. You're not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because you're waiting for something easier. And easier isn't coming. But you don't need easy, you need commitment. You need urgency. You need that fire that says, I don't care how slow I go. I'm moving forward. Because if you're not pushing forward, you're not standing still. You're falling behind. That's the reality. Growth doesn't wait. Opportunities don't pause. Time doesn't freeze. Life keeps moving, whether you level up or not. And every day you wait, you lose a little more of that spark, that belief, that edge. Until one day you wake up and barely recognize who you used to want to be. Don't let that happen to you. The power to change your entire life is already in your hands. Not next year, not after you fix everything. Now, with what you have, with where you are, because what you do today is the only thing you actually control. And it matters. It adds up. It shapes everything that comes next. So ask yourself, what would happen if you really acted like you were capable of more? If you stopped lowering your standard just to fit in? If you stopped letting your emotions decide your work ethic? If you stopped waiting for the perfect moment to grow? You already know the answer. You'd level up. You'd feel stronger, sharper. You'd feel proud when you look in the mirror. Not because life gave you anything, but because you gave it to yourself. Because you earned it. That's what you want. Not just the result. The feeling that comes from knowing you did the work. So stand up, breathe, focus, and move. You don't need another sign. This is it. You're capable of more. And this time you're going to act like it. Because that's who you really are. The rest was just waiting. And waiting is over. Number 2. No one will hand you the next level. You have to earn it. You know what makes the difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not how many followers they have or how much support they get from others. It's something much deeper than that. It's the understanding that nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to hand you the next level in life. That truth. It stings a little. But once you accept it, your entire mindset changes. You stop waiting, you stop wishing, and you start working. Because the next level isn't a gift. It's not something someone else unlocks for you. It's earned. Day by day, choice by choice, action by action. Some people spend years waiting for a breakthrough, as if success is supposed to knock on their door one morning and say, hey, I'm here. Are you ready? It doesn't work like that. The breakthrough doesn't come until you do something different, until you earn it with effort. Nobody sees. Late nights, early mornings, discipline when it's inconvenient, showing up when you don't feel like it, pushing through when the excuses sound louder than your motivation. That's what builds you. That's what earns you the next level. And here's the real part. Most people avoid saying out loud, life doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. You could have all the ideas, all the dreams, all the right intentions. But if you're not doing the work, if you're not stepping up with consistency, then none of that matters. No one is going to call you one day and say, I noticed you had great ideas in your head. Here's the opportunity of a lifetime. It just doesn't happen like that. What gets noticed is work. What earns you respect, your own and the world's, is your willingness to do the hard stuff without shortcuts, without applause. That's why people love underdog stories. Because we're not inspired by people who were handed success. We're inspired by those who had to dig, who had to fight, who had to grow through pressure and build something real. And if you're watching this, that tells me something already. You want more out of your life. You've had enough of staying in the same place. You've had those thoughts, The ones where you imagine what life could look like if you actually stepped it up. And maybe you've tried, and things didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe you slipped back into comfort. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel like you're doing everything right and nothing's happening. But that doesn't mean it's not working. It just means you haven't earned it yet. And that's the part that's hard to accept. That the reward doesn't always come when we want it. But it does come only if you keep showing up. Only if you keep leveling up from within. You don't earn the next level by doing what's easy. You earn it by doing what's necessary. You earn it by being the kind of person who refuses to give up, even when the results don't show right away. Because when you think about it, would the next level even feel good if it was handed to you? No, you'd question it. You'd doubt it. Because deep down, we all want to earn it. We want to know we're worthy. And the only way to know that is to do the work. Now, I want you to take a second and be real with yourself. Where in your life are you waiting for someone else to open a door for you? Where are you hoping that something or someone will change your situation for you? Because those areas are where you've given away your power. And you've got to take it back. You've got to look at every part of your life and say, this is my responsibility. Nobody's coming to fix it for me. Nobody's going to carry me there. I've got to get up and go earn it. And this mindset, it's not just about your career or your goals. It touches everything. Your health, your mindset, your relationships. You want better communication. You have to earn it by listening more, by being honest, by learning how to manage your emotions. You want financial growth. You earn that by being disciplined, by educating yourself, by doing the boring but necessary work behind the scenes. You want confidence. You earn it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the uncomfortable things even when fear is loud. That's how it works across the board. And yes, it's hard, but so is staying where you are. So is feeling like you're stuck on repeat. So is watching time pass and realizing nothing's really changing. And here's the key. You've got to make peace with the struggle. You've got to stop treating discomfort like it's something to avoid. It's not a punishment. It's a signal. It means you're doing something that's stretching you. And that's the exact space where growth lives. Nobody ever leveled up by staying comfortable. Nobody ever earned anything meaningful without some kind of fight. But the fight isn't against the world. It's against your own limits, your own patterns, your old mindset. That voice that says, take the easy route. That voice that says, you've done enough. That voice has to go. Because the version of you that stays there, in that place of excuses and hesitation, never sees what life could be like. But the version of you who keeps showing up, who keeps building, that version starts to experience a different kind of life. A life where you walk taller, where you speak with more certainty, where you stop asking for permission and start giving yourself direction. And you don't have to have everything figured out right now. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop waiting and start earning. If you don't like where you are, move, change something, cut the distractions, create a plan, do the work. Because the truth is, every day you delay your own growth, you delay your own reward. And no one else pays the price for that but you. So don't sit around hoping that someone will see your potential and give you a shot. Create your own shot. Build something so solid, so consistent, so strong, that people have no choice but to notice. And even if they don't, you'll notice. You'll feel that shift inside when you go to bed knowing you did everything you could today. That kind of peace is rare. That kind of confidence is earned. You're not here to be average. You're not here to be a background character in your own story. You've got something inside you that the world hasn't seen yet. But it's not going to come out just because you wish for it. You have to pull it out, shape it, strengthen it, prove it. You have to earn it. So start now. Stop waiting. Stop hoping. Start earning. That next level, it's already possible for you. But you've got to go out and take it. Number 3, when you start holding yourself to a higher standard, life starts responding differently. There comes a moment in your life when you look around and realize that things aren't changing the way you thought they would. You're working, you're showing up, maybe even trying a few new things, but still, it feels like life isn't opening up for you. And that's the part people don't always talk about. That even when you're putting in effort, results don't always follow unless something deeper changes. Not just your schedule, not just your habits, but your standards. See, the moment you start holding yourself to a higher standard, everything shifts. You stop letting the world dictate your value and you begin shaping it yourself. There's something powerful about deciding that you're done with average. Not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a real, honest, quiet decision, deep inside. You say to yourself, I've been showing up, but not fully. I've been working, but not at my highest capacity. I've been doing enough to get by, but not enough to break through. And from that moment on, you raise the standard, not just of what you expect from life, but what you expect from yourself. And when that happens, life starts to notice. People start to respond to you differently. Opportunities start to align with the energy you're giving. Not because the world changed, but because you did. People love to say, when will things get better? But that's the wrong focus. The real question is, when will you get better? Not better in comparison to others. Not better just to prove a point, but better in your discipline, better in your attitude, better in how you speak to yourself, better in how you carry yourself even when no one's watching. That's where the real transformation begins. It's not about waiting for a lucky break. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need luck. You create results because your standard no longer allows you to settle. And the truth is, most people don't live by high standards. They live by what's acceptable, what's comfortable, what's easy to justify. They say things like, this is good enough, or at least I'm doing more than that person, or I've been trying. That should count. But you and I both know deep down that kind of thinking keeps you stuck because it feels safe, but it kills growth. If your standard is only slightly above average, then your results will always reflect that. But when your standard becomes excellence, not perfection, but excellence, that's when life responds differently. I'm not talking about pretending to have it all together. I'm talking about the real stuff. Waking up earlier, not because it looks cool, but because you want control over your time. Eating better, not because of pressure, but because you respect your body. Working harder, not for approval, but because you know you're capable of more. Speaking kindly to others, not just when it's easy, but even when it's difficult. Keeping promises to yourself, not just when you feel motivated, but especially when you don't. That's what higher standards look like in action. And something starts to shift when you live that way. Your environment starts matching your effort. Your relationships start improving. People treat you with more respect, not because they suddenly changed, but because you taught them how to treat you. And most importantly, your confidence grows. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, move differently, not out of ego, but out of alignment. You start to believe in your own strength, not because someone told you to, but because you've earned that belief through consistency. There are levels to this life, and you can't rise to the next one while dragging around the old version of yourself, the one that cuts corners, the one that makes excuses, the one that says maybe tomorrow, every time things get uncomfortable. You have to leave that version behind, and it won't be easy. You'll have days when you want to go back, days when raising your standard feels like too much, days when no one claps for your effort. But those are the days that shape you. That's when you prove to yourself that this isn't just a phase, it's who you are now. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to attract better opportunities, better results, better outcomes, it's not because they're lucky. It's because they've decided what they will and will not accept from themselves. They've trained their minds to focus. They've built habits around discipline. They've learned how to say no when it's easier to say yes. That kind of person becomes unstoppable. Not because they never fail, but because they never lower their standards to match their feelings. And here's the part that matters most. You don't have to wait for permission to become that person. You don't need someone to validate your decision. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. You can raise your standard today, right now. You can decide that from this point forward. Average is no longer enough for you. That shortcuts no longer excite you. That convenience will never be more valuable than growth, because the life you want, it's already possible, but it's not going to come to you because you want it. It'll come because you're ready for it. And readiness isn't a feeling. It's a decision backed by action. And the beauty of all this is, you don't need to shout about it. You don't need to make a public announcement or prove anything to anyone. Your standard will speak for you. It'll show up in your habits, in your energy, in your results, in how you carry yourself, in how people treat you, in how much peace you feel when you go to bed at night, knowing you gave it your all. That's a different kind of life. One that doesn't wait for opportunities, but builds them. One that doesn't settle for almost, but finishes strong. One that doesn't rely on motivation, but leads with discipline. And it's available to you right now. All it takes is one decision: to raise the standard, to hold yourself accountable, to become the person you know you're meant to be. Because once you do that, life starts meeting you at the level you live, not the level you hoped for. You show up different, and the world shows up differently for you. And that kind of shift, that's what changes everything. Number 4, discomfort is a signal for growth, not a reason to stop. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It never has, and it never will. The truth is, the moment you feel uncomfortable, the moment you feel that little knot in your stomach, that's the moment you should be paying attention. Because discomfort is the signal that something is shifting inside of you. It's the point where you're about to break through. The moment that you're about to take your life, your progress, your future to the next level. But here's the thing. So many people misread that discomfort. They see it as a warning, as a reason to pull back, to stop, to settle back into what they know, what feels safe. But in reality, discomfort is your sign to push forward, to keep going, to take the next step, even if it feels impossible. Think about it. Every single time you've pushed yourself to do something new, something bigger, you've felt that discomfort. It might have been when you started a new job. It might have been when you tried a new workout routine. Or maybe it was when you stepped out of your comfort zone in a personal relationship. That feeling of discomfort is real. It's physical, it's mental, and it's emotional. But it's also incredibly valuable, because without it, you wouldn't grow. Without it, you wouldn't change. It's the very thing that makes you better. The very thing that shapes you into the person you need to become to live the life you desire. The mistake people often make is thinking that discomfort is a sign that something is wrong, that they should stop, that they should turn around. But discomfort isn't a roadblock. It's a stepping stone. It's the challenge that you need to face, the test that you must pass in order to move forward. The truth is, we've all experienced that uncomfortable moment. Maybe you've been sitting in a meeting, wanting to speak up, but your stomach is in knots. Or you've been working toward a goal, but the progress feels slow, and you start questioning if it's even worth it. That's discomfort. And that discomfort is simply a signal that you are on the right path. You have to understand that when you're pushing yourself, when you're truly trying to level up in any area of your life, discomfort is inevitable. It's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's not an indication that you should give up. It's simply a reminder that you're growing, that you're evolving, that you're moving closer to your potential. Every time you face discomfort and decide to keep going, you become stronger. You become more resilient. You build the mental toughness that will carry you through challenges in the future. It's a muscle that, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And eventually, what once felt difficult will start to feel easier. But here's the thing that most people don't tell you. Growth requires you to get comfortable with discomfort. You have to stop running from it. You have to stop pretending like it doesn't exist. You have to stop letting it control your decisions. Because when you try to avoid discomfort, you're also avoiding the very thing that will help you get to where you want to go. And if you keep avoiding it, you'll stay in the same place. You'll stay stuck in that comfort zone, in that place where everything feels safe, but nothing changes. Now, I'm not saying that you should seek discomfort for the sake of it. I'm not saying you should force yourself into situations that aren't right for you. But what I am saying is this: when you feel discomfort, don't shy away from it. Lean into it. Embrace it. Use it as the fuel that drives you forward. It's the evidence that you're on the edge of something big. And if you can push through it, if you can keep moving even when it's hard, you'll come out on the other side with more strength, more confidence, and more clarity than you had before. Think about the times in your life when you've grown the most. I'm sure they weren't the times when everything was easy, when things just fell into place, with no effort. No, it was the times when things were tough, when you were uncertain, when you had to stretch yourself, when you were scared, but you did it anyway. Those moments, those uncomfortable moments, are the ones that shape you, and the more you face them, the more you grow. They become less intimidating. They become part of the process. You stop fearing them, and instead you start seeing them for what they truly are. Opportunities for growth. I know it's hard. I know there are times when you want to quit, when you want to step back and say, this is too much. I can't handle this. But that's the moment you have to remind yourself that you can handle more than you think. That discomfort is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the signal that you're stepping into a higher version of yourself. And if you stop now, you're robbing yourself of that transformation. You're robbing yourself of the chance to see what you're truly capable of. So next time you feel that discomfort, I want you to remember this. It's not the enemy. It's not something to fear. It's something to embrace. It's the signal that you're on the path to greatness. The next level is never easy to get to, but it's worth it. And the more you push through that discomfort, the more you make it a habit, the more you'll realize that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. Discomfort is just the beginning. The rest is up to you. You have to be willing to embrace it, to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult it gets. Because on the other side of that discomfort, you'll find growth, you'll find strength, you'll find the person you were always meant to be. And that, my friend, is worth everything. Number 5. Growth requires making decisions that others avoid. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make the hard decisions, the ones that most people shy away from, the ones that challenge you, that force you to confront your fears, your insecurities, and your limitations. The decisions that push you outside your comfort zone, the ones that require you to put in the extra effort, to stay disciplined, to stay committed, when it would be so much easier to do nothing. That's where growth lives. That's where success lives. You see, the world is full of people who are waiting for things to get easier. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect set of circumstances, or the perfect opportunity to fall into their lap. But here's the hard truth. That moment, that perfect set of circumstances, that opportunity, it never comes. It doesn't come because growth is a result of action, not waiting. It doesn't come because success is built on decisions that others avoid. The kind of decisions that might make you uncomfortable, the kind that might make you feel a little unsure of yourself, but the kind that will ultimately push you to your next level. The truth is, most people prefer the path of least resistance. They want things to be easy. They want the reward without the work. But what they don't realize is that true growth, the kind of growth that leads to real success, is only found when you make decisions that others are afraid to make. It's when you decide to push through the challenges, to take risks, and to keep going, even when things get tough. It's when you decide to do what's hard, not what's easy. And those decisions, those choices, are what set you apart from the crowd. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself faced with a decision that seemed too big, too overwhelming, too risky? Maybe it was a decision to leave a job that wasn't fulfilling, to start a new business, to go back to school, or to make a change in your personal life. Maybe it was a decision to stop hanging around people who weren't supporting your growth, to change your habits, or to stop making excuses for why you weren't where you wanted to be. Those are the kinds of decisions that make you grow. Those are the decisions that others avoid. And it's precisely why so many people stay stuck. They don't make the tough decisions. They don't face the hard truths. They don't take the risks. They don't push themselves beyond what's comfortable. But here's the thing. The moment you start making those decisions, everything changes. The moment you decide to stop taking the easy way out, to stop doing what's safe, to stop staying in situations that aren't pushing you forward, that's when growth begins. And it doesn't matter if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain, because those feelings are just a sign that you're on the right path. You're doing something that others won't do, and that's what will make the difference in your life. It's easy to get comfortable with where you are. It's easy to fall into the trap of doing what feels good in the moment. But if you want something more, if you want a life that's bigger than the one you're living right now, you have to make the decisions that others won't make. You have to be willing to take the leap, to go after what you want even when it scares you. Because the truth is, growth isn't about waiting for things to fall into place. It's about deciding to make it happen, regardless of the obstacles. And this isn't just about big decisions. It's about the small ones too. It's about the choices you make every single day, the ones that shape your habits, your routines, and your mindset. It's about deciding to wake up earlier to work on your goals. It's about choosing to stay focused when distractions are all around you. It's about deciding to invest in yourself, whether that's through education, self-care, or learning new skills. Every decision you make has the power to either move you closer to your goals or push you further away from them. And it's those decisions, those consistent choices, that will determine whether you stay stuck or move forward. There's a certain kind of power that comes from making decisions that others avoid. It's the power of taking control of your own destiny, of not waiting for permission or approval from anyone else. It's the power of knowing that you are the one in charge of your future, and you are the one who gets to decide what that future looks like. It's the power of taking full responsibility for your own life, your own success, and your own happiness. Because no one is coming to do it for you. No one is going to hand you the next level. You have to go after it yourself. And the decisions you make today, the choices you make in this moment, are the ones that will determine whether you get there or not. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard. I know that sometimes it feels like the odds are stacked against you, like the challenges are too great, and like it would be so much easier to just settle for what you have. But let me tell you something. Those hard decisions, those risks, those moments of discomfort, they are worth it, because they are what will shape you. They are what will prepare you for the success you want. They are what will build the strength, the resilience, and the confidence that you need to keep pushing forward, no matter what. When you start making decisions that others avoid, you start to realize something amazing. You have the power to create the life you want. You have the power to shape your future, and that power is yours, not anyone else's. The choices you make today will define who you are tomorrow. So don't be afraid to make those decisions. Don't be afraid to take the leap. Don't be afraid to do what others won't do, because that's where the magic happens. That's where growth begins, and that's how you level up your life. Number 6. Clarity builds confidence. Confusion kills it. Clarity is one of the most powerful tools you can have in your life. Without it, you're walking in circles, spinning your wheels, unsure of where you're going or even why you're going there. But with clarity, everything changes. Suddenly, everything starts to make sense. You know exactly what you need to do, where you need to go, and what's required of you to get there. And the amazing part, once you have clarity, confidence follows naturally. Because when you know where you're headed, you can walk with a sense of purpose. You can move forward with confidence, even when things get tough. Clarity is the foundation of everything you're going to achieve. When you know your why, your goals, and the path to get there, you don't waste time. You don't second guess yourself. You don't get distracted by every little shiny object that crosses your path. You move forward with intention, knowing that you're taking the right steps, even if those steps feel challenging. The more clear you are about your purpose, the more confident you become in your ability to achieve it. Now, let's talk about the opposite, confusion. Confusion is like a fog that clouds your mind, preventing you from seeing the path ahead. When you're confused, you're lost, you're stuck. And worse, you begin to doubt yourself. You start questioning your decisions, your abilities, and even your worth. It's a dangerous place to be, because once you start doubting yourself, it's hard to build that momentum you need to move forward. Confusion leads to hesitation. It leads to procrastination. It leads to a lack of action. And if you're not taking action, nothing happens. Nothing changes. And you remain right where you are, stuck in the same place, unsure of how to move forward. It's crucial to understand that confusion doesn't just affect your ability to take action. It also affects your mindset. When you're confused, you're not clear on what's important. So everything starts to feel urgent. You try to tackle a million different things at once, and none of them get done the way they should be. Your energy gets scattered, and your focus becomes diluted. You start to feel overwhelmed, like you're juggling so many tasks, but none of them are leading to the result you want. This creates a vicious cycle of frustration, where the more you try to do, the further away you feel from your goals. And that frustration only compounds the confusion. This is why clarity is so critical. When you have a clear vision of where you're going, it's like a light shining in the dark. It shows you the way step by step. You don't have to figure it all out at once. You just need to focus on the next step. When you know what's important, you can prioritize your energy and focus on the things that will move you closer to your goals, not the things that are just distractions. Clarity simplifies everything. It cuts through the noise and allows you to focus on what matters most. And when you focus on what matters most, you get results. But let's take this a step further. When you have clarity, it gives you a sense of control over your life. You know where you're headed, and you're making choices that align with your vision. That sense of control is what fuels your confidence. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything or having all the answers. It comes from being clear on your direction and taking purposeful action. You build confidence by stepping into each day with a sense of certainty, knowing that you're doing what's necessary to create the life you want. Without clarity, you're just reacting to life. You're bouncing from one thing to the next, always feeling like you're playing catch-up. But with clarity, you become the driver of your own life. You make decisions based on your goals and your vision, not on fear, uncertainty, or outside pressures. This creates a sense of stability in your life, and stability breeds confidence. When you're not constantly second-guessing yourself or feeling overwhelmed by uncertainty, you can move forward with the belief that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. But here's the thing. Clarity doesn't come automatically. It's something you have to work for. It's something you have to actively seek out. And the process of gaining clarity isn't always easy. Sometimes it requires you to take a step back and evaluate where you are and where you want to go. It might require you to let go of old beliefs or habits that are holding you back. It might require you to make tough decisions and say no to things that no longer serve your purpose. It's a process of refining your vision, getting clear on your priorities, and aligning your actions with your values. It also requires you to be patient with yourself. You won't have everything figured out overnight. You won't suddenly have a perfect roadmap for your life just because you decide to get clear. But what happens is that the more you focus on clarity, the more the path becomes visible. You start to see the next step more clearly. You begin to understand the small actions you need to take, and you begin to realize that the big picture doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's made up of smaller, manageable pieces. And as you start putting those pieces together, the vision becomes clearer and your confidence builds. When you have clarity, your mind becomes a tool for progress. You're no longer wasting energy on confusion or uncertainty. You're directing all of your mental and emotional energy towards what matters. Your focus sharpens, your decisions become more deliberate, and your actions become more consistent. And as your actions become more consistent, your results improve. With each step, you build momentum. And with that momentum comes even more clarity. It's a positive feedback loop. The more clear you are, the more confident you become. And the more confident you are, the more clarity you gain. So if you feel stuck or unsure, take a moment to ask yourself, what do you need clarity on? What's the next step you need to take? What's the one thing you can focus on right now that will move you forward? Clarity doesn't come from trying to do everything at once. It comes from identifying what matters most, simplifying your focus, and taking action. When you do that, confidence becomes inevitable. And once you have that confidence, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Because when you're clear about where you're going, there's nothing that can stop you from getting there. Number 7. Leveling up is hard, but so is staying stuck. You've got to come to terms with something. Leveling up is hard. There's no denying it. Every time you push yourself to the next level, it demands more from you. It challenges your comfort zone. It stretches your limits, and it requires you to show up in ways you've never had to before. It's tough. But here's the thing. Staying stuck is just as hard, if not harder. The difference is, when you level up, you're at least moving forward. Staying stuck means you're standing still. And in a world that moves at the speed it does, standing still is a recipe for frustration, regret, and unfulfilled potential. If you want to grow, if you want to be better than you were yesterday, then you need to get comfortable with the discomfort of leveling up. Growth doesn't happen in the easy moments. It happens in the moments that push you, in the moments that challenge you. Every time you push through the hard, the frustrating, and the uncomfortable, you're moving closer to the person you want to be. But here's the kicker. When you're stuck in that place where things feel stagnant, where everything feels like it's not moving forward, that's when you start to question yourself. That's when you start doubting if you're even cut out for this. You start to wonder if you'll ever make it, if things will ever change. And it's in those moments of doubt that you have a decision to make. Do you stay stuck, or do you choose to fight through and level up? It's not easy. It's never easy, but it's worth it. The truth is, leveling up requires effort, grit, and a willingness to embrace the discomfort that comes with it. Every time you push past your limits, you're training yourself to be more, to do more, and to become more. The beauty of leveling up is that it forces you to grow in ways you didn't even know you could. You'll find strength inside you that you didn't know was there. You'll discover resilience that you didn't think you had. And most importantly, you'll learn how capable you are when you decide not to back down. But staying stuck, that's a whole other kind of struggle. When you choose to stay in the same place, even though you know you're capable of more, it eats at you. It drains your energy, your spirit, and your confidence. You start to feel like you're just going through the motions, like you're just surviving, not thriving. And the longer you stay in that space, the harder it is to break free. But here's the thing, you don't have to stay stuck. The choice is yours. You have the power to change your situation, to change your life, to make progress. But that change requires you to make a decision. It requires you to push past the fear, the doubt, and the discomfort. It requires you to take that first step, even when it feels uncertain. Now, I want you to think about the future you. Imagine yourself a year from now, 5 years from now. Do you want to look back and regret staying stuck in the same place, feeling frustrated and unfulfilled? Or do you want to look back and be proud of the journey you took, the risks you took, and the progress you made? The choice is up to you. I can tell you right now, leveling up is not easy. It's going to stretch you. It's going to test your patience. It's going to challenge your beliefs about what's possible for you. But every bit of effort you put into leveling up is an investment in yourself. It's an investment in the life you want to create, in the future you're building. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more rewarding than knowing you're moving towards something bigger than yourself. There's nothing more powerful than knowing you're growing, even when it's hard. Staying stuck might feel comfortable in the short term, but in the long term, it's soul-crushing. It'll keep you on autopilot, just going through the motions, never really living up to your full potential. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that for myself. And I sure as hell don't want that for you. You deserve to level up. You deserve to step into your greatness, to rise above your circumstances, and to create a life that you're proud of. So the next time you feel that resistance, that discomfort that comes with leveling up, don't back down. Lean into it. Embrace it. Because that's where the magic happens. That's where the growth happens. And that's how you'll get to the life you want. It won't be easy, but staying stuck is harder. The effort it takes to level up is nothing compared to the regret and frustration of staying where you are. You've got what it takes. You just have to make the decision to push through and move forward. Leveling up is hard, but it's the only way to truly live. The choice is yours. What will you do with it? Number 8. Your progress depends on how you use your free time. Your progress in life is directly tied to how you spend your free time. Think about that for a moment. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've been through, or where you come from. The clock ticks the same for everyone. What sets people apart, though, is how they use that time, especially the free time. Now let's get real. We all have free time. It's easy to say that you don't have any, or that you're too busy. But we all have moments in the day where we can choose what to do with our time. Whether it's in the morning before you start work, during a break, or in the evening after the day is done, you've got some hours where you're not obligated to be anywhere or do anything. So what are you doing with that time? Are you using it to fuel your progress, or are you letting it slip away, leaving you with the same results, day after day? It's the small decisions you make in those free moments that accumulate over time. Every hour spent scrolling on your phone, binge-watching TV shows, or just drifting through the day without purpose is an hour you're not investing in your future. And I'm not saying you should never relax or enjoy yourself. Everyone needs downtime to recharge, but there's a big difference between rest and wasting time. Rest rejuvenates you, gives you the energy to keep going, but wasting time drains you. It leaves you feeling tired without even having done anything. The truth is, there's no magic pill, no shortcut to success. It's all about how you use your time. If you want to move forward, if you want to make real progress, then you've got to take responsibility for how you spend those free hours. It's easy to get lost in distractions and to put off the important stuff until tomorrow. But the truth is, tomorrow is never guaranteed. What you do today, right now, is what shapes your tomorrow. Look at the successful people you admire. They didn't get to where they are by wasting time. They understood the power of using every moment wisely. They didn't spend their evenings mindlessly scrolling through social media or watching shows that didn't add anything to their lives. Instead, they used their free time to learn, to grow, to work on their skills, and to get better. They understood that every moment counts. Now, it's easy to tell yourself that you'll make progress later, or that you'll start tomorrow. But here's the reality. Tomorrow never comes. All you have is today, and how you use that time matters more than you can imagine. It's the little actions you take every day that build up to big results. So what are you doing with your free time? Think about it this way. When you invest your time in learning and improving yourself and building new habits, you're setting yourself up for success. But when you let your free time slip away without doing anything productive, you're setting yourself up for more of the same. You're reinforcing the habit of staying where you are, and that's not going to get you where you want to go. The good news is that it doesn't take much to make a change. You don't need to completely overhaul your life overnight. It's the small, consistent steps that will move you forward. Start by being mindful of your free time. When you have a break, ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? Could I be learning something new, improving a skill, or working on a project that's important to me? When you start asking yourself these questions, you'll begin to notice how much time you've been wasting without even realizing it. And once you notice it, you can start making better choices. Imagine what you could accomplish if you started using your free time wisely. What if, instead of scrolling aimlessly, you read a book that would improve your career or your mindset? What if, instead of watching another episode of a TV show, you worked on a side project, learned a new language, or invested in your personal development? The possibilities are endless when you start using your free time intentionally. But let's be clear, it's not about filling every second with productivity. It's about making choices that align with your goals and your values. It's about finding balance. Yes, rest is important. And yes, it's okay to enjoy some leisure time. But when you realize that your free time is an asset, something that can either propel you forward or hold you back, that's when you start seeing real change. Every time you use your free time to work on your goals, you're sending a message to yourself, I'm serious about this. I'm committed. And that's the kind of mindset that leads to success. It's not about perfection or doing everything all at once. It's about making progress. However small, every single day. Think about how much progress you could make if you started using your free time more wisely. If you started spending those hours building the future you want, instead of just letting them slip away. The truth is, your future is built on how you spend your time today. It's not just the big moves or major decisions that matter. It's the little moments, the daily actions, and how you choose to use your time when you don't have to do anything. So the next time you have a moment of free time, think about your goals, think about what you want to achieve, and ask yourself if the way you're spending that time is going to get you closer to those goals. If it's not, then make a change. It doesn't have to be a big change, but it has to be a change. Use your time to move forward, because at the end of the day, the progress you make or don't make is completely in your hands. Your free time is a powerful tool. It's up to you how you use it. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Number 9, you don't need a new goal. You need to finish what you started. You've probably heard someone say, I need a new goal, right? Maybe you've even said it to yourself. But what if I told you that you don't need a new goal? What you really need is to finish what you started. You see, the truth is that many of us are constantly chasing the next big thing. We jump from one goal to the next without ever really following through on the ones we've set before. We get excited. We set out with great intentions, but somewhere along the way we lose steam. And instead of sticking with it, we tell ourselves that we need something new, something more exciting. But here's the hard truth. That new goal won't solve anything if you haven't learned how to finish what you've already started. There's a huge difference between starting something and finishing it. It's easy to get motivated in the beginning when everything is fresh and new. The excitement of a new project or a new challenge gives you a burst of energy. But that initial excitement doesn't last forever. Eventually things get hard. Challenges come up. obstacles appear. And that's when most people quit. They don't finish. They think they need something new to reignite that spark. But in reality, the only thing they're missing is the determination to push through and finish what they've started. Now, I'm not saying that you should never set new goals. New goals are important, and they help you grow. But what happens when you keep setting new goals without finishing the ones you've already committed to? You end up spinning your wheels, making no real progress. You're constantly starting things but never finishing. It's like you're building a house and starting the foundation for one room, then moving on to start another room, but never finishing the first one. You get a bunch of half-built rooms, but no real house. That's not how you build something meaningful, and that's not how you achieve success. The real power lies in completion. Finishing what you started is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's the difference between talking about your dreams and actually living them. It's easy to be excited at the beginning, but what really matters is your ability to stay committed when the going gets tough. When you're in the middle of a project, when it's no longer fun and exciting, that's when your true character shows. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Think about it. How many times have you started something? A workout routine, a business idea, a creative project, and then for one reason or another, you stopped before reaching the finish line. You told yourself it was too hard, or you didn't have enough time, or you just lost interest. But deep down, you knew you could have finished it if you really wanted to. That's where the real growth happens, in the finishing, in the sticking with it when things get tough, when it's no longer fun, when it feels like the world is pushing against you. That's where the magic happens, and that's where success is built. You might be thinking, but I've already failed so many times, I don't even know where to begin. That's okay. Failure is a part of the process. It's not a sign that you should give up. It's a sign that you're on the right track. Everyone who has ever achieved anything great has failed at some point. The key is not in avoiding failure, but in getting back up and finishing what you started, no matter how many times you've stumbled. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The ones who succeed don't quit. They don't look for something new when things get hard. They finish what they started. If you find yourself stuck in a cycle of starting new goals but never finishing them, it's time to break that pattern. You need to remind yourself that the goal isn't the issue. The issue is your commitment to seeing things through to the end. When you finish what you started, you build a track record of success. Every time you complete something, no matter how big or small, you prove to yourself that you can do it. You reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you can follow through, and that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. Think about the people who inspire you. I guarantee you, the ones who have achieved something remarkable are the ones who didn't give up halfway through. They didn't jump from one goal to the next, hoping that the next one would feel better or be easier. They stuck with it. They faced the challenges. They pushed through the tough times. They finished what they started, and that's what allowed them to achieve the level of success they have today. So here's what I want you to do. Stop looking for a new goal. Instead, look at what you've already started and commit to finishing it. Maybe you've started a fitness journey and haven't seen it through. Maybe you've started a side project that you got excited about, but life got in the way. Maybe you've set a goal to improve a skill, but you put it on the back burner. Whatever it is, pick it back up, recommit to it. Focus on finishing, not on finding something new. It won't be easy. There will be moments when you want to quit, when it feels like progress is slow, when you're frustrated. But that's exactly when you need to push harder. That's when you need to dig deep and remind yourself why you started in the first place. That's when you need to show yourself what you're really made of. Finishing is hard, but it's the only way to get results. It's the only way to prove to yourself that you have what it takes. You don't need a new goal. You need to finish what you started. That's how you'll build momentum. That's how you'll develop the discipline and the confidence to keep going, even when things get tough. So take a look at what's on your plate right now. Pick something, anything, that you've started and commit to finishing it. Focus on that. And once you finish, you'll have the power to go after the next thing with even more confidence and determination. But for now, focus on completing what you've already begun, because finishing what you started is the true key to success. Number 10, change happens. When you're tired of your own excuses, you know that feeling when you look in the mirror and you realize you've been telling yourself the same story over and over again. The story where you say, I'll start tomorrow. I don't have enough time. or it's just not the right time yet. You've been using those excuses for so long. They've become like second nature, but deep down you know they're just holding you back from the life you want. You've let these excuses define you for far too long, and it's time to stop, because nothing changes until you get tired of your own excuses. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or the world around you. But at the end of the day, you are the one holding the key to your own progress. You're the one keeping yourself stuck in that cycle of waiting, hoping, and wishing things were different. You've been making excuses for so long that you've convinced yourself they're the truth. But here's the reality. Those excuses are lies. They're the stories you tell yourself to avoid taking responsibility for your own success. They are the reasons you tell yourself it's okay to stay where you are, even though deep inside, you know you want more. Here's the thing. Change doesn't come from a grand, magical moment. It doesn't come from some big breakthrough. Change starts when you get fed up with your own excuses. When you reach that point where you can no longer stand hearing yourself justify why you're not moving forward. When you get sick of telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow, and instead you decide, today is the day. That's when real change begins. Most people don't understand this. They think change will just happen on its own, like it's something that's out of their control. They keep waiting for the right circumstances, the right time, the right opportunity. But the truth is, change only happens when you take full responsibility for your actions. When you stop letting excuses run your life. You see, every time you make an excuse, you give away your power. You give away the ability to take action, to move forward, to grow. But when you stop making excuses, you take back that power. And that's when you start seeing real results. Imagine this. What if instead of telling yourself that you're too tired, too busy, or too unprepared to take action, you told yourself that you're strong enough to handle whatever comes your way? What if instead of thinking that you'll start working on your goals when things settle down, you decided to make time for what matters right now? What if you stopped saying I'll do it tomorrow and started saying I'm doing it today? That's the moment when change happens. When you stop relying on excuses and start relying on your own ability to take action, everything shifts. But let's be honest, it's not easy. Breaking free from excuses is tough because they're comfortable. They give you a reason to stay where you are. They give you an out when things get hard, and they keep you in your comfort zone. And as much as we hate to admit it, our comfort zones are pretty darn comfortable. It's easier to stay where it's safe, where we don't have to risk failure or face rejection. But the problem is, nothing ever changes in the comfort zone. You can sit there telling yourself you'll change tomorrow, but nothing will happen. You'll keep telling the same story, using the same excuses, and you'll stay stuck exactly where you are. The truth is, comfort is overrated, and the only way to break free from it is to get tired of hearing your own excuses. When you're tired enough, you'll stop finding reasons to stay where you are, and start finding reasons to move forward. You'll stop waiting for the perfect moment, and start creating your own opportunities. You'll stop telling yourself that you're not good enough or not ready enough, and start believing in your ability to make things happen. That's when real change starts to take place. The key to breaking free from excuses is self-awareness. You need to get really honest with yourself about the stories you've been telling. You need to look at the reasons you've been holding yourself back and call them out for what they are: excuses. That's step one. And once you've done that, step two is simple. Take action. It doesn't have to be big action. It doesn't have to be perfect action, but it does have to be action. The longer you wait, the longer you stay stuck. But when you take that first step, no matter how small, you create momentum. And momentum is what leads to progress. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably saying, but I've been stuck for so long. I've been making excuses for years. How can I just stop doing that overnight? The truth is, it won't be easy. It takes practice. It takes discipline, but it's totally possible. You just have to get tired of your own excuses. You have to make the decision that you're done with playing small, with holding yourself back. You have to be willing to do the hard work of breaking through your own barriers. The good news is, every time you stop making excuses, you get stronger. Every time you face the fear or doubt that's holding you back, you grow. And every time you take action, no matter how imperfect, you move closer to the person you want to be and the life you want to live. You'll start to see that all those excuses were just smoke and mirrors. They weren't real obstacles. They were just your mind's way of keeping you stuck in a place of comfort. So if you're ready for change, it starts with this. Get tired of your own excuses. Stop telling yourself that tomorrow is the day you'll start. Stop convincing yourself that you don't have the time, the energy, or the skills. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Take action today. Take that first step, even if it's small. Because once you stop using excuses as a crutch, you'll realize that the only thing holding you back was you. And once you take full responsibility for your own success, nothing can stop you. So here's the truth. You can't ignore anymore. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Nobody's gonna wake up for you. Nobody's gonna build your habits, fix your mindset, or force you to grow. That's on you. And deep down, you already know that. You've always known that. This life, this progress, this success, it's earned, not handed out. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be serious about becoming better. And maybe today is the first day you finally decide you're done wasting time. You're done waiting for the perfect moment. You're done playing small, because leveling up isn't a feeling. It's a decision. A decision to stop talking about it and start being about it. You've heard enough. You've doubted yourself long enough. You've hesitated long enough. Now it's time to move. Time to execute. Time to follow through on what you said you were going to do. Even if you're tired, even if it's uncomfortable, even if nobody claps for you, because your life doesn't change when others believe in you. Your life changes the moment you believe in you. And once you make that shift, once you force yourself to show up consistently, there's nothing stopping you. So take this with you. The next level is already waiting, but it's not coming to you. You've got to go to it. Now go make it happen.